Bam, we're live. Do I see J.R. Howell in the comments? Will Brandstetter needs to be on the show. I agree. God, wouldn't that be great? Will needs to be on a lot of shows. Already $10. Jeez, masterclass. Thanks, Coach. What's up, Eric? Dusty Russell. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and no one man in his time. Oh, and one man in his time plays many parts. Shakespeare. All right. I'm already reading this morning. Good morning, everybody. The real Kevin. Hey. Augustus Link. Good morning. Hopefully Greg will be joining us. I got a little bit of a late start today. Not that I woke up late. I was just fooling around, dilly-dallying. Dildo, is there a secret hidden option? No. Is there a secret hidden third option? Third option for what? Vindicate, neither candidate swayed anyone. Well, as a former liberal, I'm going to tell you, they absolutely probably loved last night's debate. Absolutely loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. That is that look that Kamala gives. That was the look. That was the classic look that I got as a kid. That kind of like whenever he would talk. That was I had flashbacks of my childhood. Isaac Abad, last night's debate was shit. Heidi Kroom, Trump fell into every trap they set. Kenneth DeLapp, I was watching an old Gary Roberts episode this morning. Chat was not impressed. Felt bad for him. Chat was not impressed? Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala might be the death blow. I don't know, man. For me, that made me even more certain about my choice, but who knows? I just say Taylor Swift would have been a slave owner if she had the same status and money in the slave days. Will T, you guys are so clueless. You think the typical metric of debate performance matters. Here's the thing. I think so many people were afraid that Kamala was just going to completely fail. And we saw Kamala that we've never seen before. Like no one's ever seen her go on stage and not cackle. She almost let one out. And no one's ever seen her where she doesn't sound like an idiot, where she doesn't like repeat everything she says 3 times, repeat everything she says 3 times. 3 times repeating things is fun. When I repeat things, I always repeat them 3 times because repeating things 3 times is the 3 times that it takes for me to actually think about what I want to say when I say nothing. That's what we were expecting. Kenneth DeLapp, 3 playing brothers jiu-jitsu fun. Well, thank you. I saw this. Have you guys seen the footage of the guy catching the bird? It looks like he's going to eat the bird. Who knows what he's really going to do? Have you guys seen this footage? And the lady stops him. The part for me that was the part for me that was just the craziest, most wild part ever is when she said you have to stop dividing this country on debate. On race. That line, she gave some line, you have to stop dividing the country on race. I was like, holy shit. Everyone I was in the room with just looked at each other and we gasped. We're like, what the fuck? Isn't that the foundation of their entire fucking party? It was wild. Wild. Their whole thing is about dividing the group. I loved his response. I don't care. When they asked, you said she's not a black woman, like, or you didn't know she was a black woman, and he said, I don't care. Yeah, perfect answer. No one cares. This one didn't bug me too much. This one didn't bug me, Barry. When the moderator asked Kamala, why have all your policies changed? Kamala said, I grew up in a middle-class kid and my friend was sexually assaulted. I mean, that's what they do, right? You don't have to answer the questions. But the moderators trying to correct Trump and not correcting her was outlandish to me. I got what's that called? Second person embarrassment. How do they do that? There's this sport called football. Do you guys know that sport? With Tyreek, there's a guy named Tyreek something or another. Hey, Greg. Good morning.
Eddie, how are you?
Is the fog up at your house?
Yeah. Not thick though.
Yeah, you're up.
But you can't. In between. How about your house?
You can't see the ocean though right now, can you?
Perhaps.
Oh, okay. Yesterday was like the first.
High. In other words, we had a pretty good marine layer, but I could still see Monterey and Pebble Beach yesterday.
Yeah.
And the clouds were above it.
Even in the morning.
Less so. No, in the morning, yes. The morning before, not so much.
Because the last two, somehow we've gotten into fog season. I mean, it burns away, of course, by noon or 1. But the last 2 mornings, it's been really, really. I mean, I like it. It's really, really nice. It's kind of it's cool to have 2 completely different days. Start the morning, a little overcast, and then sun pops out at noon.
Do I look out of focus?
Say that again.
Do I look out of focus?
No, you look great.
All right.
By the way, thanks for the my boys. Thanks for the bearded dragon exhibition last night.
That was great. I missed that. What did it do?
No, remember you fed them those green things.
Yeah.
And my boys absolutely love that shit. They were like, holy shit. They couldn't believe it. First of all, I've never even seen an insect like that. Do you know what you're feeding them?
Yeah, it looks like doesn't it look like a tomato worm kind of?
Oh, I have seen those on tomato plants. I mean, not in years and years, but you're right. Yeah. You're right. They look alien. They look fake. I thought it was something that your kids added water to and they expanded. You know those types of toys?
Yeah.
Tomato worm.
He likes them, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You nailed it. Tomato hornworm. God, they were so big and juicy. It was crazy. That was so cool. And you have those giant tweezers and he chases you around the cage.
There's a jar of BBs in Red's room and he wants those. I wonder what they look like. You won't quit trying to get to them.
Dan Guerrero, wow, does Greg have whiteboards and chalkboards? If I ever win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs.
Yep. One of each right here.
You're slowly, I would say, though, that you're a big chalkboard guy, but in the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 years, maybe even more, you're even leaning more on the chalkboard, huh?
Yeah, I'm on Team Chalk.
Did you see the incident that happened with Tyreek Hill in Miami, the wide receiver?
I saw a bunch of elbows,
Okay, so the first video I saw was from a car from the outside, and it titled, "Cops Throw Tyreek Down to the Ground." Then the second video I saw was from the body cam where they just showed him yelling at him to lower his window. And then when he didn't lower his window, they finally opened the door and grabbed him out of the car. Well, this morning, of course, I finally saw the entire thing. And I'm so curious what you think about this because I have such strong feelings about this. Can you see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the motorcycle cop pulls him over. I believe this is, it looks like there's cones there, and it looks like this is at the stadium. Like this guy's pulling up to the stadium.
Was this from a couple months ago when he was like before the game?
Yeah, I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was a couple days ago.
Okay, something like this happened recently.
And he's I'm assuming this is at the entrance of the stadium. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Check this out.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Why don't you have your seatbelt on? What?
Okay, so he's saying, why don't you have your seatbelt on? And the guy's saying, don't touch my window like that. Don't touch my window like that. He's already telling the cop, don't touch my window like that. Already hostile towards the cop when he's broken the law. So he said, what you gonna do?
Hey, keep your window.
So he rolled his tinted window up, and now the cop can't see what he's doing. Got his driver's license, lowered his window down, and now he's rolled his window up. I don't know how many cops are shot every year, but cops are shot every year. I just went to a police officer's 10-year death anniversary. He pulled over a guy. It was at CrossFit Livermore. The SWAT team there did a hero WOD for him. I think it was called Cooper. And a cop pulled someone over, and the passenger shot the cop directly in the head. And then when he's laying on the ground, shot him again. My feeling is, and it's probably more aggressive than yours, is you roll down, the cop pulls you over, and then as soon as you go out of sight like that on purpose, rolling up a tinted window to me is tantamount to running and hiding. Like, he doesn't know what that dude's hands are doing in there. That's like standoff to me. That's like all of a sudden that's a standoff situation. For me, it's like, hey, that's just fucking absolutely insane to me.
Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. Break that freaking window. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out. 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 What part of law don't you understand? Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting out, bro. God damn, twin. When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand? I'm getting out. You understand? Not what you want, but what we tell you. You're a little fucking confused. I'm getting out, bro. Too late. Too late. All right, bro. Take me to jail, bro. Do what you gotta do, bro. We are. We will. Good, bro. It is good. Hey, Drew, hey. Don't worry about it. I hang up the phone. You stop crying. Bro. Y'all. Don't move. Good. Bro, you beating on my window like you crazy. You set him up? Why y'all beating on my window like y'all crazy?
He's still complaining about the cop tapping on his window. What's crazy is when they first released this footage, they didn't show any of that. They didn't show the fact that he rolled up his window.
Fuck. Damn, yo, bro. Dude, beating on my window like he crazy. I ain't do nothing, twin.
So that's his friend in the car there, and his friend's now going to pull over. You see his friend pulling over in the front? Like in a Rover or something.
Hey, don't park there. Get out! What part of law don't you understand? Hey, Drew,
so
I'm getting arrested, Drew.
Don't park there.
They're telling his friend not to park there. So they just told his friend twice not to park there.
Hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee.
So they ask him to sit down. He won't sit down. So they pull him down, and now he's complaining he just had surgery on his knee.
Hey, bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery in your ears when we go there. Chill, bro. Hey, don't do, bro. Back up. Hey, call through.
So now two other guys have gotten out of the car.
Call Drew. Hey, call Drew. Drew, bro. Call Drew. Call Drew. Hey, call Drew, bro. Hey, what? Hey, call Drew, bro. Just call Drew. Hey.
Hey, he said his knee's injured. I'm pretty sure he played in the game, by the way, after this.
Hey, listen. Take it back in the
Hey, listen. Hey, man, they got Tyreek. The cops over here beating on him, man. They over here beating on
The cops are not beating on him.
Tyreek,
Listen, big man, don't park there, man. Just get in
Hey,
the
yo,
car.
hey, Drew, you gotta come, man.
Ignoring the cops told him twice, don't park there. Very, very gently, nicely.
Just get in the car.
Straight up the side, on the side of the
Hey, get in the car. You're parked in the middle. Don't park street.
I'm in the car. You gotta go before you get a ticket.
Hey, you're in the car.
Who's the driver? This is my car.
All right, move.
I'll take that.
You gotta move right now. Let me have your license. You get a ticket too.
I'm coming.
Let me have your license. You get a ticket. Let me have your license.
I'm leaving.
I'm not playing. Let me have your license.
Yo, what's
Your
going
license
on?
right now.
So he's been told to leave a half dozen times. Now he's been asked for his license a half dozen times.
What's going on?
Your license right now.
Can you imagine what would happen to you if you did that to a cop in LA as a kid? Did you ever talk to cops like that in LA when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah, me fucking neither.
You're not gonna give me your license.
Get in the car.
You're not gonna give me your license.
I'm leaving.
Let me have your license. Your license right now.
Sir, you want me
Hey,
to-
your license right now.
I'm leaving.
Or I'm gonna lock you up. Your license right now.
He just told me to.
Your license right now. You're dealing with me now.
Sir.
Your license right now.
Street.
Of course, when Tyreek talks about it to the media, never mentions the fact that he came out hostile. Why you tapping on my window, not answering? You think anything was done wrong there? I don't. I think you roll up your window and your window's tinted, they fucking break your window immediately with guns drawn. I think as a citizen of this country, you have to protect the cops by all means necessary.
Within the space of legal behaviors and appropriate procedures, there's a job poorly done and a job well done. I think that was poorly done on the cops' part.
Yeah. So when he rolled, how do you think what do you think they should have done?
Well, I think his projection of big fucking attitude.
I'm in the
Triggered the football star.
When he originally came up to the window and tapped on the window?
Almost at every interaction.
Mm. And so you think the cop, not that he was necessarily wrong, but it was very poorly executed. Like he should have just been super calm the whole time.
Yeah, and nice and reasoned with him, even while backing up, and it's time for the AR-15s now.
Right.
And block you leaving. And the next thing you know, some guy with a ballistic shield is going to come up and put a hammer through the window. All with smiles.
Right. So you have an issue with
I also wouldn't mind if take a lot of heat for this. Polishing up their English would help.
Yep. I hear you. Like those guys clearly aren't born in this country. English isn't their first language.
Dude, you almost need subtitles.
Right. Would you think
you just translated the whole thing for everyone in real time? It was just going down. You've seen it enough times, you know what they're saying. I heard some words like crazy and beating them up. And
Sevon, did you see Officer Tatum's take on this video? I did not. Sean Lenderman, too many big dicks trying to big dick each other.
That's it. That's it, Sean. Hey, what's the name of that cop in like it's Mesa, or that Arizona cop? He's got a huge following.
Yeah, I forget his name.
But I tell you what, that guy comes off to me terrifyingly tough. You don't think he wouldn't step back and shoot you in the head. And yet, I don't know, man. He's really, really good at his job.
I will say this, Matt Burns, good point. It's Miami. It's a different country down there. It
That's
is.
true.
I remember flying into the first time I flew into the airport in Miami. I didn't hear a single person in an hour speak English.
Let me tell you something. Just dealing with NFLans is a touchy thing.
NFLans?
Yeah. Yeah, the 40% of the players that are felons. Or if I might have my numbers off a little, but that shit washes in that community.
Right.
That's an okay way to behave. What way? Getting arrested.
Yeah, that was good, right, Dick? Greg's good like that. Tupac ain't got nothing on Greg.
Dude, you think how he should be. I'm sorry, sir. It probably is an illegal tint, and here's my license, and I apologize for wasting your day. I'm just trying to get to the football game.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Where I play.
Right.
So, oh, let's make this quick. You can give me a ticket or not, right? Like,
Yeah,
do what you got to do. And we can all smile about it. And if I don't like it, then I'll show up in court later. We'll pull you off a day's work, and we'll talk about how you fucking talk to me. Get you a notice right away. I want the body cam footage on the pullover. Here it comes. That kid with a day's work and $20,000 worth of attorney work could complicate that cop's life.
Right.
And that's what he should have done.
Emma Weems.
Have people going, he kind of had it coming, because you know what? He kind of had it coming.
As a cop, you got to be chill even when people are being ridiculous. It's a constant balance of being patient while being ready for anything.
It's exactly right, Emma. You need to be smiling and saying nice things when you shoot the guy. Think of the privilege. Think of the what's his history? I mean, my expectation would find that he's been getting in trouble with the police his whole fucking life. Is that the case?
That guy, I don't know. But I don't know much about him, but a lot of people were like, yeah, he's notorious for that kind of shit.
Hey, there you go. Hey, let me tell you something. As a cop, no cop's like, hey, I'd love to fucking tangle up with some NFL star today. What a great shift that would be.
Right. And I guess he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. So
there you go. That's what the problem is. The kid thinks that means something.
Precise statistics on felony rates among NFL players are not readily available due to privacy concerns.
There's a list of NFL felons, and it takes you hours to get through, and it looks like base jump deaths. No one has or the number of CrossFit affiliates. They probably don't post that anymore.
It says, as with past combines, draft eligible prospects will not be permitted to participate in any aspect of the combine if a background check reveals a conviction of a felony or misdemeanor involving violence or use of a weapon or domestic violence or sexual offense. I guess once you're in the NFL, you can do that stuff, but not before you get in. I just think you roll up your fucking tinted window, and it's game on after you've been stopped. I think moving around in the car.
What do you think you teach at the academy? I think it's draw weapon, step back.
Yeah, so do I. Exactly. I think it's that also.
Yeah.
I think the second they roll up their tinted window, you draw a weapon and step back.
And it's half the good part of that is he's likely to take off, and now you're not going to have a window problem.
Would you say that it's fair to say he was hiding? We engaged him, we stopped him, we asked him for his license, and he hid. I mean, I see it as hiding. I see it as running.
It would be so easy to make a video where the window goes up and you order it to roll down, and when it's rolled down, a gun is now pointing at your face.
Right.
It doesn't even have to go up beyond here to make the point.
Right. And I just think as a society, if we want to give cops a fighting chance or the ability to do their job, I drove by a highway patrol officer as a kid one time, and I had my windshield wiper turned off to the right, so it could squirt people. And he was a motorcycle cop, and he was on the side of the highway. And as I went by, I pulled the button and I squirted him. And he jumped on his motorcycle and he pulled me over. And as he pulled me over, 5 other cop cars showed up. All highway patrol, California Highway Patrol. And the first thing the guy did is he walked over to my car door and he opened it and slammed it like 5 times as hard as he could. Like, you know what I mean? Just like opened it like, 12 inches. And I not once for a second didn't think I deserved that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew right away, oh, I really fucked up. They got me out of the car. They opened the hood of the car. They made me walk around the car with them. They're trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, this is a brand new CHP suit. If you squirted bleach at me. I mean, it was just plain water. They ended up giving me a ticket for littering.
You should have fought it.
I did fight it.
Did you win?
Kind of. What ended up happening was I went to court and there were a bunch of the cops showed up there and I heard them in the waiting room. They didn't know I was there listening to them. The guy's like, why'd you give him a ticket for littering? He's like, I couldn't find anything else on the books. And I had found on the books that the only thing you could throw on the highway was a water that didn't obscure traffic and chicken feathers.
That's correct.
And so I proposed that to the cop, and it was this fat white lady, and I pleaded the case, and the cop, and I said that we went back and forth, and basically she said, I'm not going to give you a decision now. I'm going to have to think about this. And then so I got a ticket in the mail, and the ticket it went from like, whatever the littering ticket was, which was huge, like $1,000 or something, down to like $35. And I think I even went back down there to tell her, like, hey, what is this? And she goes, this isn't the right place to contest it. And then I said something derogatory towards her. I called her Roseanne Barr. Said, okay, Roseanne Barr, because she was a fat white lady. And I paid it. In hindsight, I would. Now, in hindsight, I should have probably just paid the ticket. I mean, fuck, I squirted the cop.
Imagine if it had come back of a charge of throwing something from a moving vehicle.
What do you mean? What would that look like?
That's a felony.
Oh, yeah, that would be fucked up.
You'd take the littering, right?
I mean, I did so many dumb things as a kid.
Yeah, everyone does, especially the boys.
Yeah.
When girls do dumb things, it's usually just riding shotgun with boys doing dumb things.
The term
corrections officer in a women's prison, what percentage of the chicks in there were like the getaway driver, or you hold the gun?
Yeah.
And he's like almost every single fucking one of them. Patsies for sociopaths.
In the debate last night, what did you think about the reporters correcting Trump when he said shit? Like he said that abortion thing, and the lady's like, that is absolutely not true. And then she goes, that's not true. You can't do late term abortions or whatever she said in any state in this country. And then she turned and asked Kamala a question. Like she rebutted for Kamala.
They have a hard time staying out of it.
And then you do a quick Google search for the state of Minnesota, and there's no time limits on abortion in the state of Minnesota. None at all. Like if the baby's in there, you can do it. And the Republicans also tried to pass a law that if you abort a baby when you pull it out, I guess if you don't rip it apart, like how normally they just rip them apart with forceps and pull out pieces. If the baby comes out alive, now the Republicans tried to pass a law that you have to try to save the baby's life, and the Democrats shot it down. which to me is, I mean, do you remember that law they tried to pass in California a few months ago, where if a baby dies in the first week of its death, of its birth, that the law can't investigate it?
Oh,
I don't
shit.
think it passed, but they tried to pass a law, and when they debated it on the floor, the guy's like, "Hey, you're legalizing killing babies because then you could just kill the baby when it's 3 days old and they can't investigate it." And the lady who wrote the law, some Asian lady who tried to get the law back.
Shut up. An
I'm
Asian lady. I said, what is this, a rush to be like China?
Yeah, it was the
That's
Asian
what I
lady.
was thinking.
She said, "Well, that wasn't our intention to let people kill the babies." Well, it's like it doesn't matter what your intention was. But they said the reason is to protect mothers who were using drugs like methamphetamines during pregnancy, so that they couldn't be charged if the baby died in the first week. It's fucking wild.
And why wouldn't you want to do that?
I That's a great question. Kamala didn't flop yesterday. You know what I mean? She didn't do one cackle like we saw Kamala we've never seen before.
Yes, I think everyone is disappointed.
Yeah, because she didn't cackle or repeat herself, because repeating yourself is fun. Repeating yourself because you have to repeat yourself, because if you don't repeat yourself. She didn't do any of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I could have counseled her on the prep.
Yeah, she was very well prepped.
I mean, how could you not tell her what not to do? Imagine how you even introduced that subject to her. You have a very distinctive laugh, and it's so endearing. It's the cutest fucking thing. I love when you do it, but some people don't. Like 98% of the population. So you can't do that.
She almost let one out. Almost.
It's an affectation.
It was so hard to watch because so many of us know the policies so well. And so we could fill in the blanks, but half the American people don't. And so they're just like, boy, she really brought the joy last night. And he bid on some crazy shit. She goes, and I know people that say that people leave their rallies early, and he fucking
that was hilarious. Someone criticized the number of people at his rallies, say that's fake. He'll lose his shit, and he did.
Yeah.
And it was a two-part question. The one part had no significance, and the second part was significant. And he just went wild on the first one, like a
Nobody leaves my rallies early. Nobody leaves. It's like, dude, who cares if someone leaves a rally early? You and I went to the Super Bowl at halftime and left 3 minutes into the third quarter. 3 minutes into the third quarter. You're like, Sevi. I'm like, yes, Greg. You're like, have you seen enough? You want to go to get sushi? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember getting the fuck out.
We were sitting next to Snoop Dogg. Do you remember Snoop Dogg and his bodyguard, the 10-foot tall guy?
Yeah, sitting behind us. And we had shitty seats.
We had shitty seats. I mean, there were a bunch of famous people there.
I was invited to bring my buddy Dave and fly to the Super Bowl with the owner in his plane.
Of one of the NFL teams?
Mm-hmm.
Reebok, correct me if I'm wrong, but Reebok contacts Greg and they're like, oh, we have tickets for you for the Super Bowl. And Greg's like, okay, thank you. And I'm like, come on, Greg, please, let's go. It's the fucking biggest stadium in the world with the most TVs. Do you remember that? You're like, I don't know. And then we get there and we have ass seats. And the seats were expensive too. It was like $12,000, but the people were only this big on the field.
The entire stadium was watching it on TV.
Right.
There were 100,000 people like this.
Yeah, I tried so hard not to watch the TV and I couldn't. Dave and I got tickets to go see a Pacquiao fight in I think it was Pacquiao in Vegas from Reebok also, and the same thing happened. They were nosebleed seats. What's crazy is like half the stadium was empty too. Like we could have just walked up to better seats. It was nuts. But the boxers were this big. You couldn't see shit. They were tiny. But they did get a glove from Pacquiao and give it to Greg, which was cool. Signed glove. It was either Pacquiao or Mayweather. I can't remember.
I got that.
Dave got it. I went with Dave to that one.
I was presented with a trophy plaque, some honorable, wonderful something from the Marine Corps. And in our confusion, I left it there. And so a year later, I was back doing another gig there, and they repeated the whole fucking ceremony with the same thing. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Hey, September 26th, 4 to 6 p.m., CrossFit Malibu.
Oh, September what? 26th?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
4 to 6.
Okay, I like that. Can I invite Sarah?
Yeah, I'm committed.
Okay.
I don't know what the arrangements are at the gym or anything, but
you're doing a talk.
Wanted to go? I'd contact Mike Anderson at CrossFit Malibu.
You're doing a talk there.
Yeah, broken science thing.
In the hut.
In the hut. Back awesome. To remember this thing? Just came across this the other day. It was. Remember that?
Oh yeah, shit! Wow. Yeah, that's cool. That's when rainbows were cool.
No, I think in Malibu, even then, it meant that.
Oh, okay.
But see the black line? That's for the police.
When we took after we
got that you put that shit on your car. You getting the flag with the black stripe?
No, I did get the flag and put the sticker on my car, and someone saw it the other day, and they go, "That's the most passive aggressive way of supporting Trump." American flag sticker. I said, "I'll take it."
You're dog whistling that you're a racist.
I know, it's horrible. It really is the black line mean the cops?
Yeah.
Because that's funny you say that, because when I was at Matt's event where he held the hero workout for the SWAT Hayward SWAT team, and there were 30 SWAT members there, and afterwards they presented Matt with this huge steel plaque, and it was the American flag, and it had a blue stripe through it. And Matt, we took a picture, and they're like, "Can you take one without that plaque?" And we said, "Why?" And they said the city of Livermore won't let us take pictures with American flags with a blue stripe in it. It's considered like
it's a gang thing now.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say racist, but it's a gang thing. They said it like somehow means that they're a gang.
Yeah, there's a lot of areas they're worried about police gangs.
Fucking nuts. So they switched it to black for that reason?
Well, I don't know. Blue, black. I don't know.
I think I saw Allison in here. Oh, what's up, Allison? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah.
It's my girl. Hey, Allie, we're going to Costa Rica in December.
Jake Chapman, Greg, what was the truth around the story that Reebok only paid half the royalties they owed you?
Oh, I don't. There was some tug of war, but Jake, I don't think they ever ended up in arrears. My recollection is that there was some dispute that was quickly resolved with some lawyer help, and I don't remember the details of it, and it wasn't kind of the thing that I'd pay a whole lot of attention to, but we had very strong accountants and even stronger attorneys, and we got our money.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
They were playing games with the way the shit was calculated. But we watched this. Before us, it was the NFL, and as we were wondering, well, what happens when the contract ends? How much of this shit would you print up? Would you manufacture? And then the contract's over and you can still sell.
Mm.
And I'll be damned if the NFL didn't have the same question. And in the end, you know what they had to do? They had to take all the remaining inventory and they put it on some football field and poured gasoline on it and set it on fire.
Oh, really? That's how
Yeah,
the NFL handled that?
That's how, yeah.
Wow.
So, there was always an expectation of shenanigan. Look, we begin the relationship. We're telling them, okay, here's the deal. You cannot say that these shoes make you fuck your ass stronger.
Right.
You cannot do that. We can have no magic apparel. I told them the trick is what you have to do is make sure your apparel doesn't impede performance. It's not going to enhance it. You got to make sure again. We had to have the same talk with fucking Under Armour.
I heard someone using that line recently who clearly knows it's your line, and they're using it as someone in the clothing business and using it as if it was their own.
Yeah, I remember like, how about some board shorts? You don't have to hike up every 15th fucking squat.
You ever seen the UFC?
Seamless garments that don't rub bloody sores on doing ab mat sit-ups.
Mm.
That was a trip. They got a lot out of that.
Out of what? Oh, out of the relationship?
The relationship with us. They learned a lot.
Yeah, totally. You ever seen the UFC fighters when they're in the ring? And a really famous UFC fighter does it from Louisiana. I'm trying to remember his name. He's on the end of his career. Tough guy in the 155-pound division. Dustin Poirier. The whole time during the fight, he's adjusting his shorts. Every fight, adjusting his shorts. Like it's just like a habit. Like he grabs and pulls them up, grabs and pulls them up, grabs and pulls them up. Not from the waistband, but from like where they are on his legs. Like they're just like an inch too long. And I always think, fuck. There was a lady, Greg, in the league. Her name was Shevchenko. She's still in the league. She's probably the greatest 125-pound fighter who's ever fought, female ever by far. And the girl who beat her recently, she was from Mexico, and I saw how she did it recently. They talked about it, and this girl Shevchenko does a lot of spinning moves, spinning kicks, spinning backhands, all that stuff. So what they decided is that they trained it over and over and over. When she spins, the second you see it, attack her back, take her back, and choke her out. And she implemented the plan, and she did it.
Now, was that a move in or a step back on the spin?
Move in. Just close the gap, right? She's spinning around with the fist, and before
it's like altering where the ground is for a gymnast.
And so she was losing the fight, and then Shevchenko does one of her classic things where she does a spinning backhand, and this chick, as the chick turns her back, instead of like stepping back, she just closes the distance, grabs her back, gets her, and chokes her out. I always think that I always tell my kids that, like when you're doing jiu-jitsu, and you know how the kids will do dumb shit like look away. I don't understand why you don't tell the UFC. I never, in all the years I've watched the UFC, I've never seen anyone like fix their shorts and the other guy take advantage of it. It's like, dude, that should be just instinct. The second the guy goes down to fix his shorts, you drill him. Seems like
was it you and I talking the other day about the ferocity of someone talented enough to duck a punch? That it's a powerful, bold, and difficult defensive move that puts you in just a crazy good position if it works.
Meaning they're extended and you're all coiled up and loaded
there you
up.
are underneath, man.
Ready to open that hip as that punch extends, cord extremity.
Put their chin in their asshole backwards, going the other way.
Like an old Bugs Bunny cartoon when Daffy Duck gets hit and his beak gets spun around.
With the flapping beak.
Yeah. Kaboom. You think
Right, my Riley has some sense of that kind of stuff. She's slipping out of these grabs, just crumbling jump backs pop up. It's pretty good. They think they got a handful of little girl and you don't, you know?
I saw the video of her beating the yellow belt the other day. That was pretty crazy. Is she still a white belt?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. She's beating kids up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a tenacity, and Rhett's forte is he doesn't mind getting beat up, and he's got a temper, and it's a great combo.
Yeah.
You can watch both of them and see that like they're trying to participate in a sport, and then when they get angry, it's like being at home.
You think you think Trump has any chance?
Yeah. You have to come to some conclusion about what percentage of the population sees wealth as some fixed quantity and all their focus is on its distribution and sharing versus those that are of a higher intelligence that realize that it's created and can be wasted, and that there's people that have talents for that creation, and what they do is assemble resources that aren't considered of value, whether it's persons or materials, and through their own energies, whether that's capital or actual physical effort, assemble that in a manner that in the end it's worth more than the sum of its parts.
And you think there's enough smart people out there?
I'm worried that we're close to that 50% mark.
You think they're going to riot if he loses? If he wins? I mean, if he wins?
Yeah, I would guess so.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do, right?
I mean, what else? Yeah, what else? If you're a rioter, what are you going to do? Riot. Hey, I was surprised to learn that we have college-educated liberal family that didn't know who RFK Jr. was, nor that he was running for president. They knew of that one Kennedy guy that got shot a long time ago, but they didn't know that there was a Robert Kennedy or RFK Jr.
They didn't know there was a
he was
nephew?
running.
Wow. This is recently?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And they got opinions on everything too. I mean, like,
right. Oh, is Trudeau done? You think Trudeau is done? I'm not watching what's going on in Canada. I don't even know how you guys do your shit. Don't your leaders get to choose when they run? They get to call elections or something? Will T. Sevi, have hope. His polls are far better than 16 and 20. The fact he's tied or leading in national polls from the New York Times is a massive indicator.
I heard someone on CNN explaining that she was actually looking to see who it was that would better run the country, and that we have the advantage of having had one of the guys president for 4 years and the other one for 3.5. And that in terms of her life, it was clearly better, and that she wasn't looking for a popularity contest or trying to pick a friend or a date, or I don't remember what their language was. But I was like, I mean, that's pretty simple.
Andrew Farmer,
If you raise your hand, I don't like Trump, and if that's the best you can do, or call them names, you need to understand that I don't like him either. I don't like Biden. I don't like Harris. But I don't know what relevance that has on who you'd vote for.
well, that's why her performance was better last night than his, because she came across more likable. It's not because of what she said. It's just she came across more likable than him. She cares for the country. She told us. She's going to unify us. She told us.
I would take a thieving, serial killing, pathological lying capitalist over the Mother Teresa liberal.
Right. Me too. But it took me a long time to get here.
My problem is with socialism.
Right.
My problem is with the loss of liberties that socialism entails, for the deplorable poverty that it produces, for the lack of opportunity that it provides to people of all colors, especially those with the farthest to go.
Meaning people who were born into just poverty.
Yeah.
Like what really is best for them and gives them the best chance is capitalism.
You tell me you got a 12-year-old little black girl doing calculus, and I'm telling you that she's going to do very, very well in life.
Right. Regardless if she's doing it in the ghetto with the parents
Doesn't
who are on
matter
drugs.
where, she won't be anywhere unpleasant for too long.
Right.
It's a beautiful, amazing thing.
If you divorce the results of the debate from the context of the current administration, VP Harris looked better than she ever has. Yeah, I mean, she was not herself. That's for sure.
I agree.
He had a good opportunity on the Lex Friedman podcast, but squandered it a bit. Could have grabbed lots of independents. Jake Chapman. Hi, Greg. I'm due to renew my L2 for the third time in December. Is there still value for me to do so after 12 years of working the gym floor, or am I better off investing the money elsewhere? Which would be a lot of money, because then he wouldn't be an affiliate anymore. He'd save $5,500. And he's on the Isle of Man, by the way. He's on a small island.
There's not an answer in that. It's not one of these should things. Look, for me, I would have been a real bitch as an affiliate about the NSCA settlement. You took my money for years, tell me you were fighting evil. Now it looks like you're blowing evil's dick, you know?
Right.
But that's me. The relationship that matters, Jake, is with you and your clients on the Isle of Man.
Along those lines, I want to show you
What's up?
I'm going to show you a video here. See if I can find the exact time code here for it. Give me 1 second.
Finish this fight as fast as possible. I agree. Yeah, he's not captain.
Marab's cut. What do you know about Marab?
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to tell you a little bit. So this is a little long. Give me a second here. So the athletes have all sorts of problems with Dave. They say he's rude. They say, you know, that he's too intimidating to them. They can't speak to him. There'll be retribution. They have all this bullshit, which is funny because the only retribution we ever see is their retribution against me on the podcast. You know, there's 15 athletes that won't come on my podcast because some reason they don't like me or not. Like they think that I care. It's so funny. But you know what I mean? Like Tia won't come on, or Laura Horvat, or like they think they're punishing me, or Justin Medeiros. Like it's just like, it's fine. But there's this argument from this PFAA organization. When I say organization, it's like one dude. It's like Brent Fikowski and 5 of his buddies. But they say that there'll be retribution from Dave if someone were to be like, hey, the ropes are too long. I mean, it's fucking like, what could he do to you? We know the athlete that he disliked the most out of all of them, who disliked him the most, was Matt Fraser. They had the most contention, and Matt's rich as fuck now, and he has 5 championships. So it's nonsense. But recently, and this is very typical of Dana White, there was a fighter who's fighting this weekend in the biggest event in the history of the UFC, and his name's Merab Gilashvili. And on Instagram, a couple weeks before the fight, he showed that he had stitches over his eye and that his eye was cut. Right? And he posted it on Instagram. And this is Dana's response about that when a reporter asks him about Merab's post. Here we go.
Can you make any?
The whole world knows about Merab's cut. He posted it. I mean, our guys are so dumb. It's next level.
He just said, our guys are so dumb. I mean, this is normal of him. If a fighter does something dumb, he says, our guys are so dumb, because he posted his cut.
Unbelievable. It's all the stuff that I talk about boxing. What I will give boxing is when something happens in a camp, man, let me tell you what, it does not leak. You know, our guys can't fucking wait to throw it up on social media. It's a small cut. It's no big deal, but obviously needed to be posted.
Against a guy like O'Malley, who is a sharpshooter and who's a very accurate puncher, now all of a sudden there's a big target for him.
And why the fuck would you want him to know that? It is next level stupid.
I love this shit, right? If Dave were to say this about one of our athletes, you know what I mean? And this is weekly. They keep saying, we want the sport to be professional. We want the sport to be professional. They can't fucking handle professional. You think that they could handle fucking Dave saying this? Oh my God, did you see the stupid ass shoes Laura Horvat was wearing because her sponsor paid her? Those are fucking horrible shoes. The fucking community, not the community, a vocal minority would lose their shit. But I think that's a great clip. Don't you think? Like, that's all hype. That's cool. Do you have a problem with Dana saying that about one of his fighters?
No.
What do you think would happen at CrossFit if Dave called one of the fucking athletes a moron? Next level stupid. Oh my God, Greg, they would ask for his fucking job.
Was there any doubt that I would have?
No, not at all. Not at all. The thing is private equity owns the company, so they're afraid. It's like this other guy. Disney owns ESPN, and they have a guy, Pat McAfee, now, who just signed a $150 million contract with them, and he does a podcast on there. And his first 2 weeks there, he basically said hey, I know executives at ESPN are talking shit about me. Either shut the fuck up or fire me, but I don't want to hear your shit anymore. And it's like, that's where we're at in the world. And of course, they're not going to fire him. His podcast is huge, right? He's the guy that kept having Aaron Rodgers on to talk about how shitty the vaccine is. Made it it's so weird that CrossFit is paralyzed by its inability to say anything. It's crazy. It's crazy.
The type of people that do battle on the internet there's a oversized chunk of that community that's cowardly and weak and anonymous. And when something happens to someone like Dave, and you know what happened to Lazar happened to Dave. It happened on his watch. I know how he takes that. These people are aroused by it. And his toughness and his strength, his deadliness as a soldier, his good looks, his his charm, the fact that he's a SEAL, he's almost enough reasons to hate him like you have to hate a Jew. You know what I mean?
Right. You mean because they're successful, good family?
Yeah, they got so
men?
much going for him. I just fucking hate him.
Right. Right.
Hate him.
Right.
And so you see a sick Jew or Dave hurt, you get fucking get a little bit of a hard on going here. You see it. There's a little bit of a live by the sword, die by the sword. The community
Seth,
needs Dave way more than Dave knows the community.
just say that again.
The community needs Dave more than Dave needs the community. They chase him off, and I can promise you the next guy won't care. I would expect to see a return of Justin Berg. He'll say and do anything he's told to say and do. Then the corporate takeover will be complete. And the company will stand for nothing.
You think the last bit of what it stands for is in him?
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, I know. I agree too. It's so weird that people don't see that. I think most people do. I think the affiliates do. I also think this is going to be really harsh. But
The
at this time,
affiliates that don't like the games like Dave.
right.
The affiliates that don't like the games are the ones that are doing all the heavy lifting. The value of this thing outside of the inputs that challenge chronic disease, there's nothing. The second important look, there's the reversal of chronic disease and prevention of chronic disease. Number 2 is friendships. Number 3 is the opportunity for the trainers themselves to earn a living doing something positive, valuable, and wonderful. And I don't know what number 4 is.
And what? Let's just say if they don't stand for anything, what's that look like? That they end up getting a sponsor like Coke that tells them, "Hey, can you tell them that we totally support exercise and it's okay to drink a little Coke?" And they're like, "Sure." How much is that going to cost?
It's already that way.
I know. I was sort of thinking that.
Look at the NSCA settlement. Hate to keep harping.
No, I like it. Yep, do it. Yep, I like it.
We had shown convincingly that these soda whores were corrupting the public health with their message for hire. We had as inference sanctions that they had committed fabrication and falsification of data, that they'd committed scientific misconduct, and not just individuals, but organizationally. Never been shown before. Brought bioethicists out of the woodwork, people that attend conferences on research ethics and publishing were coming around introducing themselves. We turned that corrupt piece of shit inside out. And what did new ownership do? Hide it all? What'd they do with your affiliate money? There's something in that deal that stinks so bad that people behind it are ashamed of themselves and have trouble making eye contact with me. It's a trip.
So do you think Rosa made that decision single-handedly or no?
No, I don't think Rosa or Don make any decisions. son got handed something, I truly feel sorry for him.
Tell me more.
Well, someone sold the Hells Angels to Costco. And management at Costco is asking, what the fuck did we buy?
And there's all these dudes now walking around and driving motorcycles down the aisles.
Telling me to fuck off, eating all the pastries. They're not even members. They beat up the dude at the door that was checking for the memberships.
When you were the leader of CrossFit, you created CrossFit, you always led with your vision, you know, and you gave us all these great mantras, cure for the world's most vexing problem, reminding everyone about the fact that they have their level 1, what they're capable of, what skills they learned. There was this constant drumbeat telling the affiliates who they are and what they're capable of and what tools they have. Now the message from the CEO is the financial kind of. It always feels like it's all finances. You know what I mean? It's more like he's running an investment firm.
I'm going to use the word again because you looked it up last week. But there's a panoply of metrics that we collectively call your health.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a blood pressure, triglycerides, bone density, body fat, maybe ejection fraction. You know, a whole bunch of things we can look at. And Western medicine treats those things as though they were independent variables. And they invest an inordinate amount of energy, research, chemopharmaceutical and surgical intervention to control those things. And the truth of the matter is that those collected metrics are the dependent variables of the independent variables that are like, what'd you have for dinner and what are you going to do today in terms of movement? And to fail to recognize that has us, in terms of chronic disease, hammering on the speedometer of a runaway train. And it's amazing how many people, Dr. Means, are close to this, but still not. They're still not there. They're still not there. Anyone going on too much about processed foods doesn't get it yet. If you're worried about GMO, you don't quite get it yet. If we're going to get down to the molecular biology of it, and we need to, we're going to take on fructose. And whether it appears in your soda pop or you're eating your bananatarian or whatever the fucking thing is, whatever the source is, you want to get it out of your diet. And when we combine that with exercise, what was so interesting about the meta-analysis of the whole body of research on exercise and mitigation of chronic conditions, what we see is that we got the same cast of characters that our diet addresses. Hypertension, it's all in there. Obesity, bone density, triglycerides. These things are all positively impacted by exercise. And so the twin effects, like what exercise and what diet, that's easily answered. All the affiliates have that answer, whether they're doing macros or they're doing Scarsdale or whether they're don't eat white foods, whatever the fucking strategy is that reduces carbohydrate intake, specifically fructose, refined, and gets people moving fine and builds community, has great results, has impact that will be had nowhere else in the community for a host of reasons. Now, I don't think there's anyone at the current setup that understands that. If you did, how could you stop talking about it? If you truly understood that, if you truly believe that, how and why would you stop talking about it? I'm not even involved. I'm still talking about it.
Right.
Broken science people, we're going to talk about it.
Right. That's a great point. If you realize that, how could you stop talking about it?
My God.
Especially since there's new people coming in the front door every day.
I got RFK Jr. to look at the 5 buckets of death.
Oh shit, was he blown away?
That was the word.
Yeah.
I don't know how he couldn't be.
It's fucking amazing.
It's a simple thing. And you know, like, someone tell me that's not true. But no, I'm not going to hear that.
Right.
It's like, you know, I offer that constantly varied high intensity functional exercises increases work capacity across broad time and modal domains. And the first comment is, you know, fuck you, you're a fat Jew. Oh, okay.
Right.
That's the only objection.
By the way, that's what it is. Like anytime that's all the comments about this show are like that. You're an idiot. You're a fucking moron. You're biased. No one ever says anything. It's fucking awesome.
I have spoken thousands of times in public and literally, and suffered hundreds of thousands of insults online. And I only had one asshole ever get discovered live that had weighed in online. And some guy at Iron Garm would say, hey, by the way, I'm going to run into this fat Jew at the seminar this weekend. I'll tell him. So I was like, remember that? Were you there for that?
No, or if I was, I forget. What year was that? Do you remember?
I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. But anyways, I had never been so excited for a cert in my life.
Because you were looking forward to the confrontation.
Oh, we did the
was that in Pittsburgh?
Where the bathrooms are and the breaks in the schedule, and then here it comes. It's time for What Is Fitness. And I go, before we start today, we got a very special guest who's gonna tell me whatever the fuck, you know. I quote him. I'm like, stand up, dude.
I do remember that was in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, he wouldn't stand up. No, coach. No, not coach. It's fat Jew, dude. Come on. Notice that right here. I'm not gonna have you beat up. I'm not gonna beat you up. You get to do it. You're here.
Yeah.
Nothing. He was the first one to come up and say nice things at the break. I mean, like, what the fuck?
Hey, do you remember a few years ago, Tommy Marquez, who used to work at CrossFit, was saying all this fucking crazy shit about me and you. He got called out on it, and basically fucking ruined their fucking YouTube channel. Their numbers fucking plummeted. Everyone realized that what complete pieces of shit him and his cohort were. And then, so I know it's been a tough struggle for them for 3 years, ever since they opened that door and kind of fucking stepped on a landmine and fucking embarrassed themselves as being fucking vultures and haters. So what's crazy is, I was at the event and Lazar died, and I spent a lot of time down in the media pit, especially as more and more media wasn't there as it got to Saturday and Sunday. I spent a lot of time in the media pit with Tommy and Heber and Mars, and I had a good chance of talking with them. And it's so interesting because I softened towards Tommy. I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. He still had that veneer in his voice, like where he postures and you never really hear who he is, right? He still had that, like, he's always in like unprofessional journalist mode or something. Like he's never found Tommy. He's just like trying to be something he saw on TV. Anyway, I softened towards him. And soon as fucking this Lazar thing goes down, he gets back home and he sees Dave's vulnerable. And he fucking starts attacking Dave again. Just like immediately, like descends on him like a fucking hyena. And I almost feel I'm pissed at myself that I fell for it. Just having the time with him. You know what I mean? I was the guy in the audience that you're saying was afraid to say he's a fat Jew. Like I accepted in his presence. I lowered my guard and my discernment of him. And now here we are after the event, and he's just chasing whatever. He's chasing the same, like, just a fucking predator.
Sebby, remember I told you if you just pick some guy at random and send him something really nice every year on April 11th,
Okay.
and you did this for years, and then you all of a sudden stopped,
Yeah.
he'd hate you.
Oh, right. Right.
No matter how nice the offerings had been.
Right.
That's where it would end up. It'd take 3-4 years. He'd hate your guts.
Right.
And so I had enough money and space and clout that I took Sean and Tommy and got the lights, the cameras. They bought clothing, shoes.
Rented crazy expensive property in the most expensive city in the United States.
Got and set them up like they were fucking like super talented ESPN dudes.
But really, Tommy just had those big gauges in his ears, walking around the office.
They had nothing going on, and I did them a disservice to prop them up like that and make them feel that they had talent that they didn't have, that they'd achieved something that they didn't achieve, that they were worthy of something that they weren't worthy of.
Right.
And then I took it away from them. And the first year at the games, when I stopped our games media, do you remember we had hundreds of reporters there?
Yep.
That's what I wanted. I want other eyes. And you know, it's funny. We got better coverage from real journalists than we did from our in-house crew. Sean and Tommy were competing with Dave and I, the people actually running the business. They assumed, you know, how long did we pretend? For a decade? And look at the growth during that period. Those imbeciles think they were responsible for it.
Wow.
To me and everyone else, it looked like a waste of fucking tens of millions of dollars. They thought they were the wealth creation. How many times have I heard that the games are driving the business, driving it into the ground?
And the morons on the internet still think that. Like, they think somehow, like,
Joe
if the game,
fucking Rogan thought that.
right. I wonder if Don, I mean, Don has the numbers in front of him. So if he can do math, he can see it does nothing. I wonder if he knows.
The finances of the, and I'm going to be very careful here, the finances of the sporting event space are so hinky, it's so unattractive compared to other business. I'm going to tell you, anyone that owns a football team got that football team, baseball team, basketball team. In almost every case, they got that doing something that paid extremely well. And the justification for the ball team doesn't look like business, only with some exceptions. It's a passion that's being fueled with cash. Okay. And I was such a fucking expert on the finances of sporting competitions and events, from security to stadium rentals to when they choke off the beer sales, all that minutia, and much of that, you know, source and repository for that sits with Dave. But we had so much knowledge on that space that others excited to get in and invest made us wonder why they would do that, especially where there was big dollar interest in getting involved. And it didn't take a lot of background check to find that there was an international criminal class that Interpol was looking for that were inserting themselves into the competition space with a lot of enthusiasm. I couldn't get us. I tried to sell the thing. Then I went to the people at WME-IMG. No one would know better. They own Wimbledon and all kinds of shit. No one wants
the
that
UFC.
turd.
They own the UFC.
Nobody wants that turd.
There isn't a successful event really of any scale in the space. I mean, you know, I have to assume Rogue subsidizes their event as some sort of, you know, marketing tax write-off. There isn't a successful one. We all know that Wadapalooza hurts.
I
bad.
like the idea of upplaying the Open so that you could crown the fittest Italian, fittest Brazilian, and bring in those sponsors that way. And
We
truly
should-
open this thing up to a global sponsorship.
Just like when you invented the Open, everyone fucking hated it because they said it would take away from the community if we didn't stay with live sectionals, and we did the virtual Open. That ended up being brilliant. And then when you did the 2019 thing where you had everyone come from every country, people hated that. That's what they should have done. And I think I really hope that they do something like that again. And the thing is I used to care about the crowning of the fittest. And now I've realized it doesn't matter. Like, everything has to be to support the affiliates at all costs. And we'll let, if people want to say that's not the fittest person because they didn't go to a CrossFit gym, well, I'm fine with it now.
It's well determined by the Open.
Right. But I'm even saying it needs to be, it's like originally you wanted it to be the Woodstock of fitness. And that was the correct vision. Woodstock of fitness, open to everyone, support the affiliates, more of an affiliate party gathering. It's more it actually is more Burning Man than it is NFL.
At the first games, Mark Ripito was giving a history of powerlifting and rules combined lecture that went on about 7 or 8 hours. And there were 120, 130 people there, and he had 120, 130 people for about 90 minutes. And the last 2 or 3 hours, there was like the people he brought with him sitting there, and everyone else had gone outside. And outside, rather than hearing about the history of powerlifting and the rules for the lifts and Mark's stories, the beer came out and the pull-ups started, and the whole thing had this I said it was like a co-ed San Quentin, the tattoos, the muscles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it looked like a prison yard.
It did. It looked like
someone got a case of beer.
Yeah, it looked like recess at Folsom with hot chicks.
Hey,
I thought it was perfect, and anyone could go anytime they wanted.
Wasn't that the beginning of the end for Dave and Rip? Like Dave was like, "Hey, shut up," and Rip's like, "No, I need to the what was it? The total needs to be done this way," and Dave disagreed, and that was the beginning of the end for them. Is that how it?
This speaks to Rip. The ultimate and final falling out was whether you'd call it shoulder press or press, and he's yeah, and Mark's like, I'm tired of this faggotry. I've been sick of this fucking thing. I've stayed side for 5 years on this goddamn shoulder press. I can't. And Tony's like, fuck him. It's shoulder press. And I refused to get involved. And so Mark left.
Oh, he actually left the event.
No, they're like us. He didn't. He's no longer. CrossFit's dangerous. He doesn't like it.
When you're really good at forgiving people, or like when someone burns
if we had to do it again, I'd call it the press. I liked it better anyways. It just wasn't going to make it a big deal.
I don't mean this particular thing, but like, do you, when you I just keep going back to like, I'm for some reason I feel like such an idiot for fucking like thinking that somehow Tommy became cool. and that really he's just the dirtbag he's always been. But
dude, he was telling people that I raped someone.
Yes. And that I was paid to film it. I don't know if rape was the word or if it was some sort of sex thing. It was like some sort of like, I was hired to film. I was told that he was telling people that I was hired to film people having sex, and then we would leverage it against them, like Epstein or P. Diddy story. Like you work for the Mossad because you're a fat Jew. Unfucking believable. But that should have been enough. I think it's a character flaw in me. That should have been enough for me, like, to be like just not to engage with someone ever. You know what I mean? It's like a porcupine. Like, if a skunk or a porcupine goes through my yard and I can't watch it through the window, like, I don't watch it. You know what I mean? I don't go outside and get a front row seat. Like, I know what happens.
Yeah, it's like pulling over Tyreek.
Right. You know what's going to happen. Oh, wow. The cop should have been, when he pulled over a fucking young kid in a fucking McLaren, that he's going to be a fucking D-bag.
It would cross my mind.
Yep.
And that he's been raised with an inordinate amount of self-esteem.
Not commensurate to his IQ.
Correct.
Franco Duboc, Greg, what would you say is the most important when it comes to the development of a young athlete?
Character. Use everything you teach and learn and do all movement to support this character development.
Like, give me an example of character.
Stick-to-itiveness. Trying hard when you just don't know if you got it in you today. Getting back up, get back on, try it again. The tools by which you confront frustrating material translates wonderfully to other success. The essential patterns for success are most easily transmitted and received in the physical province. I have a book, I found it recently. It was written on rings, gymnastics rings. And there was a psychological assessment of the gymnast. And it paints a picture of a near pathological self-confidence. And I fully understand that. You could even be proud of it. But you can learn in the physical space, in the physical province. So again, it's simple, the life lessons for success. And to pass that up is such a tragic waste.
Tyler Watkins, this is going back to the conversation we were talking about where CrossFit's at. What's up, Tyler? We don't have a dream now. We have a marketing plan. Ultimately, the dream of CrossFit will always be centered around a battle with science and companies in the way. That's tough for a Fortune 500 pedal. We also have a group of rebels and hardcore people. We need Dave to say something like, "Hey, that athlete's an idiot for doing that," and cull the herd. We need to cull the herd. We've been too soft. We need to. Well, I don't think it's ever going to happen at CrossFit. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Someone's going to have to start something new. OG Fit. It's going to have to be and when I say something new, something old, someone's going to have to start something old. Someone's going to have to, if you want this thing to be what it was, of like-minded people who believe in personal accountability and personal responsibility, who believe in the dietary protocol, who are willing to work hard. It's gonna have to be something that's branded as like, this is where all the CrossFitters went. You know what I mean?
You know,
it can't become. It has to be where they all left. This is where they fled to.
What, in terms of my vision for the company, where would you put Karin's role in the administrivia of that effort? Karin Thompson.
If there was a new company?
No, in the day. I mean,
oh, where would I put her in the current?
I'm saying, look at
she has no place in
Karin's role in our relationship with our friends in South Africa, in Australia.
Yeah, she has no role in the current administration because what she does is she curates fucking really smart people. And the new CrossFit's not interested in curating really smart people. She maintains relationships with really smart people. Right?
Yeah, and I'm still engaged with her and the Mesperts.
Yeah.
But at the broken science level.
Yeah, she's a shepherd for fucking people, for the fucking for the Mesperts, the smart ones.
Yeah, you know what? My friends at Broken Science will more than run with the ball on the essentialness and importance of our health metrics being dependent variables controlled by lifestyle choices. That's the key. That's the chronic disease answer. And and by the way, that's science.
Greg, are you Jewish? You're not Jewish, are you?
Yeah, you know what? I identify as Jewish.
Your last name is Jewish. Is your last
Yeah,
name
I have
Jewish?
Jewish family and origins and roots. And I look at what Jews have accomplished, and geez, like
But I've never seen a menorah. I've never seen a menorah in your house. Do you have one?
I'm godless, and so I'm not sure how much sense it makes to be Jewish.
Right.
But my Jewish friends also say it doesn't matter.
Did you have a menorah in your house growing up?
No.
Oh.
No. But my paternal grandfather was Abbot Abraham Glassman.
Wow.
I mean, he was a Jewy Jew. My dad married a Southern Baptist, so I got kicked from the tribe. I tried to tell John Kramer's dad once that I wasn't Jewish, and he was, "Fuck you, you're Jewish." And I go, "I don't believe in God." He goes, "It doesn't matter. I don't go to temple." He goes, "That's what we're arguing about here. That's where you should be today." It was a great conversation, but he wasn't going to let me be not Jewish, and I appreciated that.
Seb on my man.
If you're trying to upset me, you got to do something better than call me a Jew. That's for sure.
You take it as a compliment.
Of course I do.
Yeah, how could you not? Seb on my man. Oh, you have the Pink Panther drinking sugar from your profile pic. That's cool. Seb on my man, aren't you the only one who calls anyone with a different opinion a brain dead idiot? Just checking. Did you get that title trademarked yet? Snarky Sage. I have earned that right because I'm the only one who fucking says anything. When someone says, I'm the only one that asks follow-up questions, and I don't use words like, hey, we need people to be more transparent or we need change without describing what that change and what that transparency is. And so I think I'm using those terms accurately. They're not only are they not willing to call anyone a brain dead idiot, but they're not willing to say anything. Well, go back and just watch the last two podcasts Brent and Pat have done. They say absolutely nothing. No details. It's 99% vapid. When asked about anything, they use these open-ended words like change or transparency. And I think if you would prefer, I could call them imbeciles if that makes you feel like it's more clinical. And by the way, you are a passive-aggressive cunt. Okay. All right. Here we go. The gymnastics life. Coach, you said you got more of gymnastics than most of your competitors. Why was that? Oh, I think you missed it. That's kind of a
and in fact,
joke.
it was even more, perhaps more aggressive. I say I got more out of gymnastics than the greats.
Yeah, why was that? My wife and I own a gym in Minnesota. Oh, that's great. I've never heard anyone ask you that question, but I always feel like I know what you mean by that. You want to go into that? It's a really arrogant, pompous, and true thing that he says. But just think about it. Go tell him.
I mean, I
want to see if I'm right on this.
took what I learned as a ring man, and I kicked the shit out of mathematics. Make that bitch mine. Something I feared, dreaded, had no talent for. I was convinced no talents and no appreciation. And why did I do it? Because I'd been a ring man. What's the hardest thing you got over here? Now that I'm done with gymnastics, what do you got? And I didn't have to do much soul searching to come up with math. What if I got really good at math? That's got to be the hardest thing you can fucking do. And I made myself really good at math. And then you listen to people talk about what things they have talents for and don't, and you just, oh, that's all just talk. I learned that from gymnastics. I remember seeing uncoordinated kids put in gymnastics because their parents were concerned about their motor skills, become national champions. And I've seen kids that came into the gym with crazy shit they'd learned off their little diving board in the backyard and never get beyond that. And so there's something that drives achievement, and it can only be learned. And the physical province, again, is a great space for that. And gymnastics is a wonderful space for that.
The way I took it, gymnastics life is also, so Greg becomes a gymnast. He uses that to realize he can do hard things. He takes on math, he takes on science, and he also develops movement patterns, or not movement patterns, movements, putting movements together that would help him mimic gymnastics. Then in turn, flash forward, I know there's just a lot of steps in between, creates CrossFit, which produces, just if you look at, if you say 3 people work at 15,000 gyms each, he creates 45,000 jobs on 162 different countries on 7 continents. And that's not to mention the other fucking 500,000 people that probably work in the ecosystem, whether it's mailing stuff from Amazon or working in the warehouse at Rogue or selling bars or straps. And that's how I always took it. Like, you just look at this kid who did gymnastics, who then used it to invent CrossFit, which then parlayed into, and that's how I always took it, that he got more, and we in turn benefited from it.
You know, the complexity of the movement and being able to learn it and coach it, talk about it, teach it. I'm telling you, there's no gymnastics coach who doesn't look at the clean and jerk and the snatch for just a few minutes and like tell other lifters things about the movement they'd never considered before.
Meaning gymnastics coaches have a great eye, and the Olympic lifts are like nothing to them to learn and
they are
coach.
Beautifully, wonderfully simple movements. And with sufficient load are infinitely hard, right?
Yeah.
Simple but hard. But the mechanics of it, no fucking mystery here. Years ago, I got a thumbnail of Leonardi's, I think it was his name, the little pocket Hercules guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this thing was literally a thumbnail. And I stared at it, and it was him on a world record clean. I'm a snatch. And I watched that thing over and over and over again for hours. And then when I walked away from the computer, I knew things about that movement that were, you know, I mean, I could have discussion with experts and provide valuable insight. So this idea of pulling the body up, the bar up the body, I'm like, no, man, the fucking guy's in free fall. Before there's any pull on the arms, the hip's given up. And my evidence for that is his hair is standing up. Before the arm breaks, the hair is standing up.
Damn.
What did that? He's been slingshotted under the bar as though it were a stationary apparatus. He's using its inertia and his sudden and powerful flexion at the hip and leg have left him weightless under the bar momentarily, in which he put himself underneath it. We can talk about things like that on the high bar and the parallel bars all the time, routinely. There's a big fucking mystery of the weightlifting guys, but that's cool. They only got 2 moves. You got to make more of them than you need to, you know? But it was easy to, by extension, lend support to that sport and do something significant. I just got sent something the other day by Mike Bender, I think, about the CrossFitting chick that's the secret behind America's once in a generation weightlifter, not lifting weights.
Oh. Who is
Have you
that?
seen that?
No. Is it a man or a
Sending
woman?
it to you right now.
Is it a man or a woman?
It's a chick. Well, you know her.
Someone wrote, Heidi Kroom. Oh, so you're Jewish. Well done, Heidi. God, you never cease to amaze me. Karen is a gem. Karen is a gem.
She's wonderful, and it's good to be working with her again. I'm telling you, Emily, Bob, Karen, Leaf, Mia, that team, that crew more than understands what was given up by HQ.
Geez Louise, why didn't you put the boys in gymnastics? Sevi, I did for years. And we had a private gymnastics coach that came to the house once a week. And eventually what happens is a pandemic comes. It was a shit gymnastics program. I have to tell you. It was absolutely shit. No one there cared. They fed the kids goldfish more time than they were doing gymnastics. They had arts and crafts. And then everyone had to wear masks and I was out. You have to remember, I live in an area where I can be waiting in line and I can hear parents complaining that the schools are open and yet they don't have shots for 4-year-olds. That's where I was at. And I would overhear conversations of parents being upset that they don't have the vaccine for 4-year-olds. How dare they open the schools? I mean, that's where I live.
I live right on the cusp of there's a dividing line between the white and the brown population, and I live on the cusp. If I go down to the freeway and I go east, I'm heading into the brown community. And if I go west, I'm heading into the white community. And Sevi can tell you, I will not go to the white folks without at least one gun. I don't go, period, but if I have to go, I go with the gun. And I'll go hang out with my brown brothers all day long, and I don't need anything. And the food's better, the theaters are better, everything's better with the Mexicans than it is with my white brethren on the west side, the meth heads.
Hey, that's pretty funny. I never thought about that before. You do only go to the Spanish speaking.
I only go to Watsonville. I wouldn't live here if I didn't have Watsonville.
Wow, I never fucking realized. Yeah, you don't go to where a whitey is. You only go to where brownie is.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah, we always which is further for me to travel.
Could have got Starbucks out, the one in Watsonville. Both of them, they're great.
Everyone,
the one in Santa Cruz, there was a biker gang battle that traveled all the way to Prescott Valley and had a shootout that lasted for 2 days.
I think a cop was killed in a Starbucks in Santa Cruz a handful of years back, right?
No, 5 guys were murdered, mistaken identity. Oops, sorry guys, my bad.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, on Ocean Street, at the 7-Eleven. I was like, okay, I'll go downtown. And we're like, come on. We go to see a Willie Nelson concert, and some homeless dude, it was some Indian. I know he's an Indian because he kept telling everyone. But he pulled out a knife a foot long and was going after Robbie. Robbie put that guy into the wall and windows so fucking hard. I was so impressed with my 70-year-old father-in-law. Dude, this guy was 6'5" and 300 pounds. And he hit the wall and bounced into the window so hard that that's when he came up with the knife. And I'm 5 feet from my car, just kind of locking it, but I got a gun in the car. And I'm like, wow, let me just try 911. It was so clear from the operator, no one was coming. Like I'm 5 minutes into the phone, this guy's swinging a knife around, right?
Yeah. And that's where the Warriors practice team is, and that's where my kids do jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Oh, I just love it down there. The fuck, Sevy.
And you know that guy pulled a knife on Garth at the ATM on Pacific and was out within 24 hours. Tried to rob Garth.
It's a gnarly town when you're going after the fucking 260-pound kid with cauliflower ears at the ATM.
And I've never seen any violence in Browntown where we go. I mean, I've seen some fucking. We saw that strung out meth head, but he was white.
You go to movies there, and everyone sits quietly through the whole fucking movie just watching.
Right. Where do you go in Watsonville? What theater?
The one right near the Jack in the Box.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one there.
A little bit.
Oh.
Speaking of which, we going to Silver Spur? Kids are asking.
Yeah, we can. I don't know what my kids are doing, and I have to return a rental car at noon or 11, something like that. So if we go, we should go now. You want to go now?
Yeah. What are you getting a rental car for?
I already had a rental car. I took one to Sacramento.
And you're going south when?
The 24th.
So you're gonna come up to the Malibu thing?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. How far is Malibu from Newport? An hour?
Hour and a half. Depends on traffic.
Yeah, I'll for sure do that. That'll be cool. Hopefully I can bring Sarah with me. I can ride. She just got a new Range Rover. Hopefully I can ride with her. Bring Paul.
He's cool.
He's cool as shit. All right, cool.
We'll hit our favorite spot afterwards.
Yeah, that's cool. You should stay the night.
That's what I was thinking.
Is Maggie
Last
coming?
time we did that is when the
fires happened. Yeah. Is Maggie coming?
She says she is, but that means nothing.
Right. She's on baby duty.
She could, last minute, like, I don't feel like it, and I get it. I never do either last minute.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm dreading going to Boston.
Are you dreading that?
Well, it's just the longest I've been in a plane in fucking years. So I'm really excited that I'm going with you. Like, really excited. It's gonna be fun.
Tell you what, man, you fly with 4 spoiled little brats. And there's no flight by yourself there's no downside.
It'll be fun when we get there. I'm excited to see Thomas.
My kids are a trip on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got their moms. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
We were landing and I'm talking about, like 150 feet off the deck, coming in, nose up, right? Gear out. And I see Robbie streak by like so fast, just this blur of red hair running through the plane.
Did the stewardess say anything?
No, it's bizarre. Maggie's got her seat back and her laptop out, You remember how Australians flew, Sevy?
Remind me.
Well, just like there's having a party in the back of the plane with music going and everyone's eating fried chicken and shit, right? Like a picnic, all standing.
Yeah.
That's how my kids and my wife are.
They own the plane.
They'll be like, okay, you have to take your headphones off, put your laptop away, put your seat up. And Maggie smiles and just keeps watching her fucking movie.
Will BSI fight for unlicensed trainers? Unlicensed trainers. You mean unregulated, government regulated trainers? Is that what he means? I think that's what it means.
I would think definitely. I mean, listen, we offered a certification because they were being required. Let's get something that was good. And we got accreditation because the assholes at the NSCA kept going, yeah, they got a certification, but it's not accredited. So we got the ANSI accreditation. Theirs was an NCCA accreditation, the cheap fly-by-night bullshit one. Boy, I'm making friends hard here today. But we got the good one, the expensive one. ANSI wanted to know, why would a fitness organization want an ANSI accreditation? And it's because the assholes in academia are saying our certification's no good because we're not accredited. So we got the accreditation they can't get.
Oh, nice.
So what they do after that was the next response, but we need to fake some science about these fucking guys. That was the academic response to constantly varied high-intensity functional movement increases work capacity across broad time and multiple domains. The response was fabrication and falsification of data.
Which is better than what they did to Trump, shoot him and send him to jail. Attempt to. Sevi, why are you coming to Boston? Why am I going to Boston, Greg?
Broken science thing. I'm talking, Siegfried's talking, Emily's talking. I'm not sure who else.
I heard the last one was great. No offense, you weren't there, so it can only get better. But I heard it was great.
Hey, man, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I heard it was great. I heard Emily's up was fucking fantastic.
I love hearing that. She's good.
Yeah.
She's
I heard
good.
from a half dozen people I didn't even know who were there. I heard it was amazing. I heard she killed it.
Doesn't surprise me. She's a consummate professional, dear friend. I got immense respect for her husband, Bob, Mia, the team. We got Leaf.
Yeah, a lot of smart people. Yeah.
Yeah. Carl Thompson.
You were on Todd Herman's podcast.
I was.
Dude, I saw a 10-minute clip of that. It was fucking amazing. It was so good. Like, if you want to see Greg at his best, go watch the Todd Herman podcast. Man, you were good. I haven't seen the whole thing. You were great. How long did it go?
To that, I don't know where that even sits.
Okay, I will. Dude, there's a 10-minute clip, and it's awesome. It's so cool. He's cool. I can't believe how. I mean, I met him at your house, and I really liked him. But man, what a great talk.
He's a dear friend. I have immense respect for him. And he just had a bid rejected for purchasing of a gym.
What kind of gym?
You know the kind.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a CrossFitter.
What do you mean reject? What do you mean rejected? Rejected from CrossFit, or he tried to buy an existing gym?
He tried to, it's a little bidding war.
Oh,
and his bid was rejected. That's all.
Oh.
But
cool.
You never know. There's a will, there's a way. But he's a CrossFitter. He had defended me prior to meeting him. He had defended me on Rush Limbaugh's show. And he had said that the heat I was taking was from my stance on sugar. Probably the first person to suggest that.
Wow, that's cool.
Interesting.
McLefty, don't end this without saying when and where this is, please. I don't think that's open to the public.
But that's coming up. This is all for me warm up for that. So,
yeah, I think the event, and if something changes, McLefty, I'll announce it here. Ask Sousa. Sousa knows probably better than Greg and I.
McLefty, and let's just put him on that list now. So,
okay, are you cool, McLefty? Because I don't like your name so much. Don't end this without saying when and where. McLefty, reach out to me. Let me vet you. Make sure you're not a ding dong.
Hey, I launched CrossFit in Santa Cruz. That makes me liberal whisperer.
Yeah, and you hired me.
Yep, I'm good with them. I got no problem with people that don't agree with me.
All right, you're in, McLefty.
I like the logo.
Oh, that's cool. Maggie just sent me the videos of you feeding the lizard.
The lizard's something else.
Yeah, the bearded dragon.
I mean, he really is like owning a tiny dinosaur.
Is October 5th another BSI event? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not the best calendar guy.
Grace, that was a great 10-minute clip from Todd Herman. Yeah, I agree. It was awesome.
Thank you, Grace.
I was envious. I thought I won't ever probably have those kinds of conversations with Greg because we're too close of friends. I was envious. I was like, damn, that's really good. Hey, what do you think about doing? Are you doing other podcasts now?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, because someone reached out to me and asked if you would come on this certain podcast.
Yeah, say yeah. I'd talk to anyone.
Okay.
I'm close to this level 1 broken science presentation in 10 acts over 2 days. It's resolved down at the, lecture level, well outlined, defined. I think I could do it today, but it's got to be better than that. It's interesting. There's a relationship, this triad of accessibility, entertainment, and profundity, and they help and hurt one another at times. But a lot of material can be wonderfully profound but inaccessible, and therefore not very entertaining. But the profundity, if accessible, can also provide the entertainment. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because you realize, oh fuck, this is really, really important shit, and I get it. I'm doing it. I'm thinking about it, And I think I've managed that well. Part of what was inspirational to me was watching my poor father suffer in Madison trying to talk about p-values. The subject is extraordinarily profound, but he failed in that the presentation, because of its inaccessibility, it wasn't very entertaining. And the profundity of the material is such that there better be a way to get this across, so that it can be entertaining and provide entertainment to help with that. And I think I've done that. I think I can pull that off.
I think you can too.
Yeah, I'm excited by it.
The first beta.
No, I think January in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Over in the new gym. So I have dates soon.
What about people who are let's say like CrossFit seminar staff or people who've been around forever, like a Saxon and Scott Panchik, or people like that? Will they have access to that event?
Yeah, I mean, if you could get me a list together of the people from the L1 team,
I think that there's,
in no sense poaching, but they made possible. They are the manifestation of my life's work, and I wasn't excited at the prospects of doing seminars 5 a week for the rest of my life.
I mean, you have to think that there's people who've been around forever, like Jenny Orr or Chuck Carswell or Todd Whitman, who actually used to train at seminars side by side with you. They would be fucking so excited to see, because they already know what they already know what they're gonna be in for.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Let's do it. Help me put that list together.
I will.
And anyone out there from the Jenny Orrs, Chuck Carswell, Todd Whitman's, all of them, any of them.
Or what was the guy's name in Oregon or Washington? He had the strongman guy. He's now the drug guy for the games.
Yeah. Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt. Damn, good job, Greg. Curtis Bowler.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Oh, Stefan Roche.
Yep. And all of them. Everybody.
All right. Damn. January is going to be a party in Arizona.
Yeah, I'll come up with the date. Get me that list, and we'll do a test run with them.
Anyone who wants to come to that, who I will be vetting you, but let me know. All right.
Hey,
love you, Greg.
Breakfast time.
Okay, I'll call you soon.
But let's just do this. Let's go now.
Okay, let me see. Okay, let me get the kids. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Still call me though.
Bye, everybody.
Confirm.
Thank you.
Bye. Just remember this. This is one of the most successful organizations in the world. They're having their first sporting event at the Sphere's ever had. Tickets are $5,000 each. And don't forget when you hear Fikowski's vision for the future and Brent's vision for the future. Remember, this is what success looks like.
You can tell he's a bad dude.
Could I ask you two other Marab's cut? What do you know about Marab's cut? And can you make any?
The whole world knows about Marab's cut. He posted it. I mean, our guys are so dumb. It's next level, unbelievable.
So are our guys. Our guys are so dumb, next level. I really am the CEO. I was saying this shit even maybe before Dana. Maybe Dana watches my shit and stealing my shit. Brent, you are next level stupid.
It's all the stuff that I talk about boxing. What I will give boxing is when something happens in a camp.
God, wouldn't that be great if Don or Dave just came out and said that? What are you, stupid? I saw NorCal Classic just posted something with some affiliation with PFAA. God, I like Blair and Ben so much, but I need to get them on there and ask them what the fuck they were thinking. Why would you affiliate with brain dead stupid?
Man, let me tell you what.
Bad people. I'm starting to think that maybe Brent and Pat are actually bad. Mr. Reed, Pat and Brent think they are the smartest people in the room, regardless of the room. Just ask them.
It does not leak. You know, our guys can't fucking wait to throw it up on social media.
You guys at CrossFit cannot wait to put your fucking ass on social media.
It's a small cut. It's no big deal, but obviously needed to be posted.
Again,
yeah, it needed to be posted. We needed to make our demands. It needed to be posted. I'm Brent Fikowski.
Against a guy like O'Malley, who's a sharpshooter and who's a very accurate puncher.
Against Dave Castro, who's a sharpshooter and very intimidating.
Now, all of a sudden, there's a big target for him.
Now there's a big target for him. His name is Brent Fikowski.
And why the fuck would you want him to know that?
And why the fuck would you want him to know that, Brent?
It is next level stupid.
Brent, you are next level stupid.
Some of these guys are so stupid, it's mind-boggling.
Some Brent and Pat are so stupid, it's mind-boggling. Handsome Dan. Sevy's mind is so warped, he's transforming into a delusional Trump supporter. Oh, brilliant. Well said. Well said. So, just so you know, the other choice are people who believe in baby killing. They want to normalize pedophilia with their MAPS program. Minors against or minor. What is MAPS? Minors minor attracted persons. So when you call me that, when you call me a delusional Trump supporter, it's completely fair that on the other side of the equation, you are a supporter of pedophilia. You're a supporter of cutting off penises off of children without telling their parents. You're a supporter of censorship. There's all these things. So be careful saying that, because now everyone in the chat and everyone with a brain who can be like, okay, if you don't like Trump, because you're not saying anything, you're just name calling. So when you do, like, and I was doing that too. That's fine. I get it. But I'm also acutely aware that when you name call, if I call someone a dumb fuck Kamala a supporter, then they can be like, okay, he must really be into censorship or into protecting kids. And so just remember where that leaves you. And by the way, you're not even using your real name. So it's also fair to say you're a fucking coward. So just remember that. Just remember that. There's no downside. And by the way, that's a free lecture on how the human brain works. Andrew Farmer, there's no downside to affiliation with PFAA. They're somewhat impotent and it makes the athletes feel good. You're out of your fucking mind. Very low downsides. It's like advertising that your company doesn't like war. You're crazy, dude. That is not accurate at all. There's a downside completely with affiliating with them. I am not a neuroscientist, but Jenna Hawk is. She's got a degree in neuroscience from Princeton. I can give you 1,000 reasons why there's a downside to affiliate with them. What's the downside? What's the downside of affiliating with them? Hold on, let me check my notes. All right. I'll see you guys later. There's been fucking 10 shows on why there's a downside to affiliate with them, but we'll do a whole show tomorrow. I appreciate that. Let's call that. What's the downside of affiliating with the PFAA? That'll be tomorrow's show. Love you guys.